Hey everybody, Pandi here of Pandi's Hair, Candy, and More. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, we are already chat family. You already know what it is. This evening, I'm getting ready to get into a TV show review. The show is Cherish the Day. It is featured on BET as well as on network. It is a stirring romance about a couple told in segments of one single day. Okay. It is written by Ava DuVernay, and it's a hot new trending series. We are currently in season one. The episode that I'm going to be reviewing on tonight is season one, episode six, and it is titled Nemesis. Okay. So again, I'm Pandi of Pandi's Hair, Candy, and More. Over here, for the most part, I talk about hair, wigs, as well as natural hair. I do some TV show reviews, as well as a few other different types of content, which is the and more piece. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you enjoy the commentary or the content, please take a moment to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. That is free 99. And drop down in the comments and let me know your thoughts. If you've seen the episode, do you follow the show? Any questions or positive feedback that you want to give, please feel free to drop down in the comments and leave it down below. All right. Now, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into my notes. Again, we are on Cherish the Day, Season 1, Episode 6, and it was titled Nemesis. So basically, what has happened now is 2 years have gone by. Okay. Evan and Gently have been now married for 2 years. The episode basically begins with us seeing Evan and Gently at home enjoying the married life, or so it seems. Okay. He's actually preparing to go out and meet with some new investors. And they've also added a housekeeper who doesn't really seem to be getting along well with Miss Gently. Next, we see Gently just kind of standing there reminiscing about she's like having flashbacks on certain moments and occasions that occurred prior to them getting married. She flashes back to the scene where she was receiving premarital counseling from Evan's family pastor at the church, and how he was basically dwelling in her spirit that she was going to have to start sacrificing her passions and putting her desires and things on the back burner in order to allow her partner to blossom. And she's reminiscing and reflecting on those things as Evan is walking out the door. And in that moment, it appears that Emily is basically trying to remind herself why exactly it is that she exchanged her old, free spirited, get up and go travel the world type of self in exchange for this role of a stay at home housewife. Okay. Now, next scene takes place over at Miss Luma's. Miss Luma's got some new young nerdy boy that is now her caregiver. He's basically taken on the role that Miss Gently had for years. He's very nerdy. He's very uncomfortable. He's very jumpy around Miss Luma. She clearly makes him jealous. So she sends him off on an errand to go put gas in the car so that she can basically have some alone time with Miss Gently. Okay. Um, they are discussing the fact that Miss Luma's about to finally get some long overdue exposure. Apparently, Miss Luma's agent, Barbara, has made arrangements for some, I'm not sure, they didn't allude to who exactly, but it was some sort of um, company was going to come over and basically interview Miss Luma and feature her, try to basically give her some exposure, kind of make her back relevant again. Okay. So as they're preparing for that to take place, they're going to try to shine the light on Miss Luma because she basically has a very diverse catalog of film work in the previous years as an actress. Next scene, we flash to Evan and Jado at the office. They appear to be in a boardroom in some sort of a meeting of some sort. They're all stressed out. And basically, it comes down to the fact that they're planning to meet with these potential investors about the company that he was trying to launch prior to them getting married. Now, apparently, they want Evan to have dinner with the female corporate financial raider. Her job is literally to come in and pick apart their books and, determine whether or not their business plan model even deserves funding, basically. Okay. So Jado is not on board with it at all. He's just not feeling it. And he expresses that to Evan. But they agree, nevertheless, to at least have dinner with her. So they're, going to set up this dinner. It's going to be very impromptu, last minute. And they basically want Evan to be the one to do it. Now, back at Miss Luma's, the interviewer has arrived. Well, actually, no, that's not the interviewer. Barbara, Miss Luma's agent, has arrived and she has bad news. It appears that the company has decided that they're going to do the interview with someone else, someone with more exposure. And of course, Miss Luma handles the letdown with true grace and class. Gently, however, is very bothered by it. She doesn't think it's fair. She thinks Miss Luma's never really gotten the shine or the spotlight that she deserved. So she's very bothered by it. And in that moment, she steps outside because Evan calls her on the phone. He does like a video call, almost like a Skype on the phone. And he realizes that she's been crying because he can see her. He tells her that he needs her to host a last minute work dinner. So she tells him to text her whatever he needs for her to do. But she's clearly not happy about that because here she is having a situation. She cares so greatly about Miss Luma. And we have to keep in mind that Gently and her mother have never had this close bond. And the fact that she's been Miss Luma's caregiver for all these years, it's almost like a second mother figure for her. So she's very bothered by the fact that Miss Luma is getting this unfair treatment and she wants to do something about it. And she's trying to express that to her husband. And all he can hear is, I need you to be able to host this business dinner tonight at the house. Okay. So next we see Gently back at home preparing dinner. She's on the phone talking with Miss Luma's agent. They're kind of brainstorming ideas on how to basically revive Miss Luma's visibility. And all of a sudden, the light bulb comes on for Gently. That we should do a podcast. Um, you know, we should do a podcast for her on YouTube or some form of social media. Evan then arrives home from work and he's so laser focused on the business dinner, he's not even hearing her big idea. She's so excited to share this information with him, and all he can think of is, babe, do we have to talk about this right now? Can it at least wait until after dinner? So she's very disappointed by that. She feels like she's always been there to support his visions, his goals, his aspirations, and here she has something spectacular from Miss Luma, and she just wants to discuss it with him, get his take on it, and he's shunning her. He's basically putting it on the back burner. They low key have like a disagreement about it, but Gently smooths it over. She reflects back to when Pops was advising her before she even got married to be smart enough to recognize each other's differences and to basically go into the marriage with your eyes open. She literally starts reflecting back to that conversation. Now, Evan is in the shower trying to prepare for the dinner guests when Gently decides to join him in the shower, telling him that they've got 19 minutes. Okay. So I think in Gently's mind, she feels like she's going to be able to persuade him through set. I don't know. It was kind of awkward. But anyway, after the quickie in the shower, things seem to have mildly subsided. The tension has kind of eased between them, but she's still replaying the argument in her mind when she gets a call in that moment from Barbara, again, Miss Luma's agent. Apparently, she's been invited to some podcast event. It's like a party or some kind of event. Gently can hear the loud music playing in the background. So she basically is telling Gently that she wants her to come and basically crash the event to help her seal the deal because Gently's young, she's edgy, she's well traveled, and she feels like she can seal the deal, basically, and get them in line to basically do the podcast that they decided is going to be the only route to go in order to revive Miss Luma's career and basically get her back relevant. Now, the only problem is that their guest has just arrived along with her husband. Now, this is a $17 million deal on the line for Evan. Part of the reason why they were arguing. He didn't see, the importance. He's like, I got a $17 million deal on the line, and you're talking about trying to revive Miss Luna's career. Okay? So, how rude of a first impression would that be if Gently just whisked off into the night to pursue her dream of helping Miss Luma to become relevant again? The raider basically comes in and she walks in. She's saying how she loves the flow and the decor of the home, and Gently is reluctantly hosting a fabulous dinner. In that moment, I can't remember the raider's name, so I keep referring to her as the raider. The raider's husband is then impressed with Gently's ability to speak fluent Portuguese. Next, we see Gently join her husband, the raider's husband, outside by their pool. They're kind of connecting and chatting over travels. He appears to be of Latin descent, while, of course, Evan and his wife, the raider, are inside trying to solidify the details of the deal. Um, he sees that she's unhappy in her marriage. He basically senses it. And they kind of discuss her previous travels. And he talks about how he's free to do whatever he wants. The money's definitely there. He's basically living off the woman. And he suggested Gently, why don't you do the same? I mean, you're not locked up, you're just married. She then decides to call Barbara, okay, Miss Luma's agent. Inside, Evan is talking with the raider over drinks, and she's telling him how she enjoys his company. It was kind of weird because it seemed almost sexual in nature, but I digress. She's not at all impressed with any of the details about the app, about the business, hearing anything about the business plan. She's more impressed with him, his company, and she tells him she's impressed with his ability to gather data. She tries to tell him to relax. She's also trying to sell him on telling him that being a people person is one thing, but if you lean more towards generating wealth first, you'll be better off in the long run. Whereas Evan is more geared towards trying to help people whole. So I think he's kind of conflicted about what direction she's wanting them to go. And at the same time, he's kind of depending on her to get the money and the funding in place. Now, Gently is standing there conflicted in her position as to whether or not she should leave to go pursue her passion and make this thing right for Miss Luma, or staying behind to support Evan's endeavors. She walks back inside, and it appears that she has left. It's looking like she's gone back in. She's gathered up her things, her keys, and it appears like she's getting ready to walk out and just basically leave him hanging with this lady and her husband. So, unfortunately, this is where the episode ended, guys. We'll have to actually wait and see. I believe the episode will be coming back on Tuesday of this week. So, I will definitely be watching and tips that I can come back on and update you guys as to what's going on with Cherish today. But again, still so far, guys, I am loving the show. The direction that the show is taking is starting to get a little sticky. I mean, I get it. I see what they're trying to get us to look at, but where it started off so peachy and fuzzy, I think they're starting to realize and recognize that they have differences than common than initially was presented. And it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. You guys, I'm Pandi of Pandi's Hair Candy and More. This has been my review and commentary on Cherish the Day, Season 1, Episode, was it 6 or 7? One moment, y'all. I think it's Episode 7. No, it's Episode 6, and it was titled Nemesis. Let me know down in the comments if you're following the show, what your thoughts are. Let me know if I left anything out, or if you just want to add something to the conversation. If you did not remember to hit that like button on your way in for your girl, please go back and smash that like button. I greatly appreciate it. It greatly affects my analytics here on the channel. Thank you again for watching, and you all have a wonderful night. Bye.